I'd just like to thank the Deputy for his kind words and thank Brian Swift for what he said as well. I suppose in the theme of thank yous, I'd like to thank all the members of the party, friends who came along tonight. Not so much my family, of course, because as we all know, you're only here out of fear of crossing my mother. But I have to say I was a bit nervous about speaking here tonight. All week, every day, several times a day, I've had people ringing me, trying to give me ideas about what they want to hear tonight, what are the priorities. And one thing I got from them was that there is no shortage of problems in Waterford. There's no shortage of misery being caused by the current situation. There's no shortage of misery that people feel need to be radically addressed, and they want to see that to start being addressed right here and right now. They can see places like Kilkenny, Carlow, Cork, even though there's a national recession going on, these places are by leaps and bounds doing much better than Waterford and Tramore, our entire county. And they said, well, what makes the difference there? And I believe that the difference there starts with local government and ends with all of us in national government. For myself, when I've been going out in the doors, meeting people for the last few months, I assume that people wouldn't want to tell me their issues, their problems. Who am I? I'm just some guy with the worst little calling cards ever knocking on their door. But you'd be surprised at how deeply felt people want to have these problems tackled. They don't care who it is, and in fact, they're actually disillusioned by those who've come before, made promises and broken those promises. And they too want to give a chance for something new, because they look at the Waterford that's coming down the line and they want to opt out of that most definitely. These aren't small problems that affect individuals in certain cases. These are massive challenges that define whole families and destroy the nature of people's lives in our communities going forward for years to come. Myself, as some of you might know, because between my bragging and my father's bragging, I was in fact the first ever person from Waterford to be the president of young Fianna around the country. And that was a huge eye-opener for me. That was a huge eye-opener for me, because basically when I got into politics, it's probably not too different to the national stage, that the big blocks are Dublin, Cork, Galway, and they wield tremendous power and they want the most attention. The young lad from Waterford with a barely functioning young ogre was not supposed to take over the whole thing, but I wanted to take it over, so I ripped up their agenda and created a new one. And that's what I and the others here this evening are going to do in the future. Waterford is being put back on that table, we're going back on the agenda, and if anyone tries to stop us, let them try, because we're going to come through. I haven't too much more to say, but I'll just keep it by saying that I love a quote by Sean Lemass where he said, "You cannot choose to opt out of the future." Well, I most certainly intend to opt out of the future that's being put in front of Waterford for all our people by other outside actors. Without naming certain ministers from Kilkenny and Wexford, we can all see how far fallen down on the priority list Waterford has become. How they're divesting services and funding and things that we need in our regional hospital, in our Institute of Technology, in investment programs from the IDA. These are not coming to Waterford because they're being sent to these other counties. They're taking away not just what we should get in the future, but they're taking away what we got in the past to be redistributed to cushion themselves. Our current politicians at local government, by Fine Gael and Labour, receive their orders from these people and they adhere to them. And that's why Waterford City, the oldest city in this entire country, was abolished as a city. When it comes to Fianna Fáil, when I deal with people like Deputy Niall Collins and others, they ask me, they know there's no Fianna Fáil TD down here, they ask me, right, you tell us what's in Waterford's best interest, and we'll add it to the party. And that's the difference between having a party like ours that's a Republican party. The reason why I got into this is because a Republican party takes a broad view of who we are and where we're all going. This isn't left-right class warfare. We can all succeed together. And that's the policies that we're going to push forward when we hit this local elections. And just on the point of our futures being dictated by others, we fundamentally will create an alternative for Waterford that will go from here. They might have a national strategy, and the local politicians here might tell us about how great we're doing within the framework of this national strategy. But I'll point out to them that with 12% unemployment and Waterford's running at almost twice that size, they might have a national strategy, but we here have a Waterford strategy, and that's where it's going to start. There's a last line that I really love, and it was actually by James Connolly. See how I can borrow out both sides of the whole spectrum there. He says, "The great only appear to be great because we are on our knees. Let us arise, and come May 23rd, I and the others in this room will lead an arisen Waterford Fianna Fáil, and we're going all the way back to the top." Thanks very much.